At my graduation party, my dad whispered, "Your brother has something to announce tonight." I was standing by the dessert table when my dad pulled me aside. "Your brother has something to announce tonight. Big news." I smiled, thinking maybe he'd gotten a job offer. "What is it?" He shook his head. "You'll find out with everyone else." I felt a knot form in my stomach but pushed it away. This was my day. I'd worked my ass off for 4 years to graduate summa cum laude with my engineering degree. My mom had rented out our favorite restaurant's private room. 50 people were there celebrating my achievement. I was 3 sentences into my prepared speech when my brother Lucas stood up. Actually, before she continues, I have something important to say. Everyone turned to look at him. Lucas pulled his girlfriend Stephanie to her feet. "I know this is my sister's night, but I couldn't wait." He got down on one knee. My mouth fell open mid-sentence. "Will you marry me?" Stephanie was crying, nodding yes. The room exploded in applause. Everyone rushed over to congratulate them, and I just stood there holding my speech, completely forgotten. My aunt started talking about wedding plans. The restaurant staff brought out champagne they'd apparently prepared in advance. This was planned. My family knew. My graduation party had turned into my brother's engagement party in seconds. 30 minutes later, my dad did a toast. To my daughter's graduation and my son's engagement, everyone cheered. The words hit me like a punch to the gut, and suddenly my mouth tasted like I'd been sucking on pennies for hours. This sick metallic taste of realizing my achievement meant nothing. I cornered Lucas in the hallway. "What the hell was that?" He ran his hand through his hair. "I know, I'm sorry, but Dad said it would be fine." I shook my head. "You proposed during my graduation speech." He looked defensive. Everyone was already gathered. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Stephanie's pregnant. 3 months. That's why I proposed tonight before we tell the family." I stared at him. "So you hijacked my party because your girlfriend is pregnant?" Lucas's face hardened. "This is a big deal for me too." I laughed bitterly. "Everything is always a big deal for you. When I got into MIT, you announced you were joining the military. When I won that engineering competition, you told everyone about your promotion." He looked confused. "Those things weren't about you. They were about my life." The words hit me like a punch to the gut, and suddenly my mouth tasted like I'd been sucking on pennies for hours. The metallic taste of realizing my brother genuinely didn't see anything wrong. "Get away from me." I left. My mom called me selfish. Over the next week, my family group chat exploded with wedding talk. Nobody mentioned my graduation. I stopped responding. Lucas texted saying I was being childish. I blocked him. 2 months later, my phone rang at 3 a.m. It was my dad. "You need to come to the hospital. It's about Lucas and Stephanie." When I arrived, my entire family was in the waiting room. My mom was crying. Lucas sat with his head in his hands. "What happened?" My dad's face was gray. "It's Stephanie. She collapsed. They ran tests. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. It's everywhere. Maybe 6 months." The room spun. "But she's pregnant." Lucas looked up with hollow eyes. "They found it because of the pregnancy. The baby is fine, but Stephanie, they're saying 6 months, maybe less." Lucas pulled me aside. His eyes were red. "That's why I proposed at your party." She'd just gotten test results that scared her. "We didn't know it was cancer yet, but we knew something was wrong. She wanted to be engaged before we found out." The words hit me like a punch to the gut, and suddenly my mouth tasted like I'd been sucking on pennies for hours. That horrible metallic taste of shame. "I'm so sorry. I didn't know." He shook his head. "Stephanie didn't want anyone to know until we had answers." My anger about my graduation suddenly felt so small. My brother wasn't stealing my spotlight. He was giving his dying girlfriend one happy moment before their world fell apart. Stephanie gave birth at 32 weeks. They got married in her hospital room 3 days later. She lived for 4 months after the baby was born. Long enough to see her daughter smile. Long enough to record video messages for birthdays she'd never see. At Stephanie's funeral, I thought about my graduation party. About how angry I'd been. And I realized that sometimes the moments that feel like someone's stealing your thunder are actually them trying to grab one last piece of happiness before everything goes dark. If I could go back to that graduation party, I'd hand him the microphone myself.